Welcome to Rock the Life, a podcast for fans by fans. I'm Katya,
I'm Amy.
and today we have a wonderful guest on. It is Emily of Guitar by Emily,
She's amazing.
who is someone Amy turned me on to. Thank you, Amy, for that. And I have so much fun watching her YouTube and her Instagram, hearing her stories.
Oh
Such
my
a delight.
gosh.
Such
You
a
guys,
delight.
she's incredible. And you guys, I just have to say, when it comes to fan stories, you are going to love today's episode. Love, love, love today's episode and the amazing experiences that at 19, I think she said, Emily has had. Like, we are on, well, blown away on, she's on cloud nine. She's just incredible. So before we get today's episode, please, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. You know, you're totally going to want to follow and hear what else we have coming out in the future. More episodes definitely with Emily, and it's just it's so exciting, and I love seeing the excitement that we have. You guys, here's Emily.
Hi, Emily. Welcome to Rock the Life. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to chat with you guys.
So, okay, Emily, I'm gonna go back to the beginning and start you out. Like, we love your YouTube channel and Instagram and everything you're posting on, especially glam rock and 80s music. How did that all start with you?
So, definitely my parents, as a lot of young people, I would suppose, would say. I honestly, when I was a kid, I did not care a ton about music. I liked, like songs from movies and, the Disney movies as a kid. But then there was like kind of a gap that I remember where like I don't even know what I was listening to because I just didn't care about it that much. And then probably around the time that I was 14, 15 years old, I started paying a little bit more attention to it. My dad always had 80s music on in the car, usually like 80s on 8 on Sirius XM. And I started to be like, wow, this is really cool. This is fun. This music sounds happy. It puts me in a good mood. I really love it. And then fast forward a couple years later, and I started hearing the guitar parts. My eyes opened to like actually hearing this, and I'm like, what is this? And how do I learn to do that? So I just really fell in love with the music, and that's really what led to me picking up the guitar.
Wow.
So, how old were you when you picked up the guitar?
I was, let's see, I was 15, but I was just about to turn
Wow.
16. So I was pretty much 16 years old.
So, you have only been playing guitar a few years.
Yes. And
Oh my
I played
goodness.
piano for a while. So I've been in the
Mm.
musical, area for a little bit. But yeah, guitar just kind of happened. So it's not been going on that long.
That's
And
so
that
crazy.
No, that is so. If I were to ask you to think back to like when you were listening to the music your dad was playing, thank you, Dad. Um, what band stood out to you?
I always remember just loving Bon Jovi. I'd say "Living on a Prayer" was the first one I heard. I mean, everyone hears that one first, I feel like. But they just like the energy that I could just feel with the music and just how fun. That's one thing just about 80s music that I feel like is so different from even 90s. And from here on, it's a little bit depressing. It's all about, oh, I hate my parents, like, and it's just like, I'm not about that. I'm like, let's have a good time. Let's have some fun. And so Bon Jovi definitely stands out as one of those bands. Poison, love me some Poison. Some of those like really poppy like glam metal bands were the first ones I really loved.
Okay, Emily, I love that because like, okay, Amy and I,
We're like
we
sisters.
that was us, but like when the music began. Okay. And I just remember same thing. First time I heard like Bon Jovi and Poison, like having a good time, I was like, what is this world in this lifestyle? And I still love it. Oh, I'm so happy that you like it.
It absolutely, and Emily posted something just the other day, and it was something about Richie Sambora, and it had to do with how well Bon Jovi translated emotion into their music. And that's the thing. And Poison did it too. Emily, you're absolutely right. It's all about a good time.
So when you are playing songs on your YouTube channel, how do you pick them?
Typically, I listen to a lot of music just throughout the week. I have a long drive to college. I commute. So I listen to a lot of music all the time. And sometimes I'll get requests and I will write those down. But typically, what I do is I am constantly active listening to music. So I will think about, okay, what chords are behind this? What is the guitar player doing? Can I figure this out right now? Or is this something I need to put on the shelf for later when I have some more skills? So I pick up a few things and I make a little list in my notes app, and then I come home and I work through them. I'm like, okay, this one works. Okay, this one's going to take a little bit longer. Some of the covers, honestly, I will work on them for 6 months before you even hear them, just depending on what it
Wow.
is. Or some it'll be a week, and I'm ready to go. I'm about to record "Superstitious" by Europe, and technically, I've been practicing that song for 2 years. Like, I honestly like have been playing it that long, so I'm finally able to get the solo up to speed and all that. So it's just really like a big process of what can I do now? What can I work on for later? And just listening to music in the car is how I get that bass list.
I love that. I'm as you said that song, and suddenly the video pops into my head,
Yes.
and I hear Joey Tempest like, "No," and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." I Europe is one of those, I feel like, underrated bands that were
Yes.
so great, and that I never got to see live ever.
And
Sad.
today, I just want to add, I started reading Eric Gronwall's book, and the foreword is by Joey Tempest.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
So love
interesting.
it,
Yeah.
love it, love it. So I love like the connection that we still all have to him too. So of all the songs you've played so far, what has
Uh-oh.
been one of your most favorite to learn?
Learning Dawkins is always a good time. A stressful good time.
Yeah.
George is just wild. I
Yep.
was learning. I'm working on Alone Again right now for
Hmm.
another cover, and I was going through, and I usually like to try to start with some tabs just to get a baseline of what I'm learning. And I'm looking at these tabs, I'm listening, I'm playing, I'm like, this is not right. And then I'm listening to George and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is George doing now? And then you listen to other live versions and he's doing different crazy stuff. So I feel like it's the most fun though, because you're like decoding a mystery. Like, what is George doing?
Mm.
He
So
is amazing.
probably, which Walk Away, I did that one a while ago. And that one was like really fun to learn. So probably, honestly, that one.
So
That's
as you're
awesome.
learning it, are you teaching yourself or do you take guitar lessons? Do you have someone that helps you?
So when I first started playing, my piano teacher started teaching me a little bit. And that's where I really got like a foundation of like blues guitar and soloing. He is like a big like blues player. He's from the 70s. Like he's really great. He taught me a lot of that stuff. And then I went for a long time just teaching myself. I say I learned like the bulk of what I know now just kind of in that period. And then now I actually do Zoom lessons with JJ Tomchik. He is incredible. He's just an online guitar teacher, and he also teaches at a music college. And he definitely helps me work through some of those harder songs. But mostly the covers that you guys hear me play, I've taught myself how to play them. He kind of works with me on some of those more difficult, Steve Vai, Ingve type stuff because I need a little help with
Right.
that.
The virtuoso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought there was like a lifetime of guitar playing behind you, listening to you play. But no, this is Amy. I don't know. Can we do this in a few years? I don't think so.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Holy cow. That's
So
excellent.
we know the 80s music is, the fun, which you've been focusing on. Who are your musical influences
That
so far?
question
I'd say
always
to date, to
gets
date.
me because it's just there's so many. But I always, if you've watched me for any time, Steve Vai is one of my biggest
Yes.
Hmm.
biggest inspirations. Absolutely love him. Just the emotion that he puts into playing. I know a lot of people like don't really enjoy listening to him, but for some reason, like he is just like I strive to be like that. It is just the way he uses music theory and the application is just so gorgeous.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, then we've got, George Lynch. He's a little bit different style for sure, a little more
Hmm.
aggressive playing, but like seriously love him. Warren DeMartini, very underrated.
Mm.
Obviously Richie Sambora and CeCe DeVille, those two were like right at the beginning, huge, huge inspirations. Neil Schon, one that I don't hear everyone mention, but
You're right.
amazing. He uses the pentatonic
Oh.
scale so much, and people are like, "You're not allowed to do that because it's so basic." But I feel like Neil just has this way of using it to where it just sounds great, and I absolutely love it. So I'd say those guys, Nuno Betancourt, um,
Mm.
my big inspirations right there.
Very
It's so
solid.
funny. We actually, Emily and I were she what did you it was the choice of your guitars for that arena rock show, right? And you
Yes.
posted something, you're like, which one should I take? So we actually had like a little bit of this discussion where it was like,
Yeah.
which one? It was like, my comment to her was, what are you going for? Because
Yeah.
it was like, what's the vibe you want to put out there? And we had that conversation about Steve Vai, and oh my word, yeah, that was fun.
Well, okay, now, I'm not gonna make this one this difficult, but we have watched you interview some incredible rock stars on your YouTube channel. What have been some of your favorite moments? I'm not gonna ask you for favorite people. I just want moments.
Um,
Yes.
Definitely when I interviewed Michael Sweet in person in
Mm.
Columbus, Ohio, just because it was really funny how it all came to be. It was my first day in clinicals in nursing school. I had sent some emails to Michael's people weeks ago, heard nothing. So I was like, okay, they're not getting back with me. And I planned to go to the concert that night, but I did plan to have to be there any earlier than 8 o'clock at night. And I get an email while I'm on break and I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Michael Sweet's publicist. They want me to be there at 4 o'clock to interview Michael in person. And I'm
Oh.
in my scrubs. I look like a mess. I'm taking care of patients and I'm heading to the break room every like 10 minutes to like send an email back. We're not allowed to be on our phones. So I'm like, I have to make this happen. So yeah,
Mm.
I mean, it ended up working out. I'm calling my dad, I'm calling my mom, I'm calling my photographer. Like it was crazy, but we ended up there. I did my makeup and hair in the car and we got there and Michael was absolutely incredible. We get along really well. We just vibe well together and he's always been an inspiration to me. So we just had a really fun time. And then when he threw his new guitar over me and let me play it,
Loved that.
just
Loved
like,
that.
what?
Yeah.
Just really threw me. I wasn't even expecting it, but it's just he's a really nice person and
Mhm.
he really took the time to pour into someone younger and let them get that opportunity and I really really am thankful for him for doing that.
That
That's
was great.
awesome.
That was a
Mhm.
lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna like have more questions to go along that, but I also want to ask now that you mentioned it. So, do you have a supportive community in your residency and your work and your nursing that you do? Do they know what you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Everyone around me knows about all of the social media and the
Okay.
nursing, obviously. Everyone in my nursing classes know that I'm like living this double life
Yeah, no,
situation.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Honestly, some of
She's
them came to my show last week, my nursing
Oh,
classmates. So it's
That's
really funny.
awesome.
Like they all like think it's awesome. And then, of course my parents are very supportive of everything. Live at home still right now, so it's just they're really great. They go with me to all the shows and, it's just really awesome.
parent perks. Yeah, no, Amy and I just
Yeah,
yeah.
we've been talking about specifically the mom perks. We brought it up with
Yeah.
Nate, and then Kobe's mom. Oh, she's living the dream. So she's
Oh,
working.
no.
She's doing a lot of work, but mom
No,
perks.
I love that because I can't imagine like I have to go, I have to get ready for the show. Everyone, I'm sure, would support you. Okay, so in all the
Mhm.
people you've interviewed, have has anyone given you some words of wisdom that you really have taken to heart?
Oh yeah.
When I was interviewing Miljenko Matejevich of Steelheart, at the
Mhm.
end, I always like to ask whoever I'm interviewing if they have a piece of advice. Sometimes it's better than others, but his advice was to keep going. And if you have something that you want to do, just keep at it. And one day the stars are going to align and they're going to align quickly and it's all going to start working out. He actually told me that 1 week before I got the message from Bret Michaels, and it was just really cool to see that, like, I've been working really hard, and then, yeah, stuff happens quickly, and it starts going down, and then you're like, "How did this all happen?"
Okay,
Yeah.
so that brings me, how did that all happen with Bret Michaels?
So it's pretty crazy. As you guys know, as all of us know, we all love Bret. I mean, you
We
just
all
do.
love Bret.
And
We do love
so
Brett.
it was like this big goal of mine to get Brett to notice one of my videos. I just don't know why, but I just really wanted him to. So I've been trying for weeks and weeks and weeks and months, posting poison covers, tagging him, like begging
Mhm.
pretty
Mhm.
much
Mhm.
Brett
Mhm.
to see something. And during that time, Ricky Rocket did follow me. And I wonder if Ricky had anything to do with it. Maybe he
Oh
didn't. I
yeah.
don't know. But he might have sent it to Brett. I don't know. But me and Joseph Henry, if you're familiar with Joseph, um, posted a little collab of Ride the Wind on
Yeah.
Instagram. And
Mm.
the really funny thing of that is it wasn't supposed to get posted until Saturday. And it got posted on Wednesday because we were both free and we didn't have anything else to post. And that afternoon, I was sitting on my couch. My mom's sisters were there. Like, we had a bunch of family in. And I look at my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, Bret just commented on my video. Like, what? And I was like so excited. He said like hashtag Team Bret or something like that. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, mission accomplished. And then fast forward about 3 hours later, I'm sitting on the couch again and I get a DM and I'm like, what? It's from Bret Michaels' official's page. And I am, of course, checking it to make sure it's not a scam,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
actually from Bret. And I'm like, what? I couldn't even read it for like 2 minutes. I'm literally like screaming at my family, running around like crazy. I was like, and they're like, "Well, what does it say?" So
Yeah.
I read it, and it's not Bret himself, but it's Ben from Bret's team reaching out. He
Mhm.
said, "We saw your video. Bret saw your video. We really would like to invite you if you're close enough to Columbus, Ohio, to be there in 2 days on Friday. Bret would like to meet you, and if you want to bring your family with you, you can, and you can come to the show. You know, get pit passes and everything, and we'll meet up." So at the time, that's all I thought was going on. I didn't know anything else. So 2 days later, I'm like flipping out about what I'm wearing. I'm meeting Bret Michaels.
Mm.
So I'm
Mhm.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to get all this
Yeah.
together. But the day finally comes. We went up to where it was, and I got to watch part of the show. I was a nervous wreck. It was blazing hot outside, like makeup melting off and
Oh
everything.
gosh.
But I get a text from Pete, which is Bret's guitar player, telling me to just go meet them in the back. And I was thinking I was gonna go meet Bret, and I get back there and it's not Bret. It's Pete and Tommy, which is he's on the crew. They're both great.
Mhm.
And Pete's the guitarist. But Pete sits me down and he wants the story. Like, it's like, Pete is all business. He's like, I want to know what you do, how long you've been playing
Oh,
guitar, show me you videos of you playing. Like, he wanted to see it, like
Yeah.
right then
Yeah.
and there. And I was nervous. I was like, I am not meeting Bret. They're gonna
ah!
kick me out. Like, I was so worried. And he looks a little bit, asks some more questions, and then he like completely loses the business like persona going on, chills out, and he's like, okay, so here's what we're thinking. This show tonight is really small. There's not a lot of people here, and Bret would not want to do this way. But if there is any way that you can get to Detroit, Michigan 1 week from today, Bret Michaels would like to invite you to come play with him and spend the day, get the full band experience. And I literally couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they were saying that. I just don't know what Rut saw in that one little video that made him do that. It's just so
He
kind, and
believes
I
in
just really
you. Yeah.
he does, and it really gave me something to believe in to
Oh,
quickly
I love that. That's the greatest line
Honestly.
ever.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
honestly, like, just that feeling right there was just so incredible. It just made me feel like everything I was doing was paying off, and, just
Mhm.
this small town girl getting a big
Oh,
Small
opportunity like
town
this
girl.
is crazy. And then after that, I did actually meet Bret.
yeah.
We went to his trailer and knocked on the door, and I'll never forget Bret coming out of this trailer. It was just like Bret Michaels right in front of my
Beautiful.
face, and I was just, like, freaking out. He gave me the biggest hug, and I was like, "I'm hugging Bret."
Aw.
It was just so beautiful.
That's
And obviously
excellent.
got pictures and watched the show, and he just told me, "You know what? I think you're doing an awesome thing, and, people like you are the reason that I get to keep touring because young people still care." And he's like,
Yeah.
"I just love what
Yeah.
you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I can't wait to see you next week." And that's what happened.
And then you
That's
have a week to prepare to go to Michigan.
Yes, and I've never been to Michigan. I've only played on stage one time. That was with Arena Rock when they drugged me on stage,
I
like,
saw
right
that. Yeah.
before.
So cute.
And so that was, like, no preparation. I was nervous. It was a great show, but that one was, like, no stage presence was happening. Like, I was just trying to just survive up there. So, this was, like, definitely nerve-wracking because I didn't feel prepared. I didn't know what I was gonna do on stage. Like, I didn't know if I would completely blow it. I knew I wasn't playing the solo because I just did not want that extra stress. But to be quite honest, I was so nervous the entire week, I felt ill. Like, it
yeah,
was
yeah.
not good.
Like I
I
was
just
gonna say, could you even eat? Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
I was just a wreck. I was practicing so much, but I was also really, really excited. So it was kind of,
Mhm.
I think, a mix of the 2.
Mhm.
But to be quite honest, when I got there, showed up to sound check, every bit of the nerves absolutely left, and I wasn't nervous one time again that whole day. They just made me feel so welcome,
Oh.
and Brett is just such a sweet person, his entire crew,
Hmm.
they're just amazing, and I just enjoyed every minute of that day, and it was amazing.
That's so awesome.
How
So the
many?
whole
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. The whole band experience, so catering, sound check, all of it, like everything.
Yeah, I showed up around 1 o'clock. That's after they got the equipment loaded in, and that's what time
Hmm.
Brett was showing up. So they brought me in. I loaded my gear in. I didn't have much gear with me. I brought a Spark Mini actually, and that's what I played through. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
loaded in. I met JT, which is the guitar tech. I love
Hmm.
JT so much. He's great. And they literally, from the moment I showed up, treated me like I was Bret Michaels himself. Like they were so
Oh,
kind. I just was so happy with everyone. They were just treating me like a rock star, and I just felt like I didn't even deserve it. Like it was just so
Oh,
nice.
but you do.
Everyone there, I just can't speak highly enough of how nice and
that's
welcoming they were. But yeah, sound check.
That sounds killer excited. You were, I could feel you. I thought you were going to launch. You're like, that's it.
the catering was great. Coffee, they had a lot of coffee, which I enjoyed.
yep.
um,
Stop it. Yeah.
I had a dressing room to sit in. I was with the band in their dressing room for part of the day. It was just great. It was so wonderful. I had all day to just hang out with everybody. It was great.
That's excellent. That really
Oh,
helps the stage performance with that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
and what
That's
did you tell people who might not have seen it? What did you perform with Brett?
We played Nothing But a Good Time. Originally, Pete kind of asked if it would be like Every Rose or Nothing But a Good Time. He didn't really know, and I was like really thinking I want to play Nothing But a Good Time, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to like say anything. I was like gonna let him figure it out. And actually, it was Brett when I was at Brett's camper. He's like, "We're gonna bypass the Every Rose and we're doing Nothing But a Good Time," because he's like, "I know you can shred, and we're gonna let you rock out a little bit on stage." So we definitely went
oh,
with that one.
that's excellent.
That
Oh
is
my gosh.
awesome. Okay, I'm going to go to another concert that you went to because I had so much fun watching your vlog on it. You had it, well, first you had an incredible summer of concerts, which was awesome. So tell us about the Def Leppard Journey concert. Was that the first time you had seen Def Leppard play?
Yes, it was. That
Okay.
concert was so amazing. Another funny story with that one, I actually started up in seats pretty high up in the stadium. That's where we bought tickets. It was totally fine. Like it looked great from there. And for some reason, my dad got on Ticketmaster and was looking at the
Mm,
tickets in the pit because he was like, you know what? She would have so much fun if she was down there. And apparently the prices had like been cut way lower than they were originally. And he's like, you know what? Why don't I get you a ticket to go down there? And I felt bad because I didn't want to leave my parents up there. So he was like, okay, I'll get one for you and your mom, and you guys can just go down there and have a good time. So he
oh,
originally did that, and then we get down there, and it's amazing. You know, we're right there, and we text him. We're like, "Get down here, buy yourself a
Yeah, you
ticket. We're only
just
doing this
get down.
once." So we all ended up in the pit. I ended up right on the railing, touching the stage. I clapped hands with a couple people. The music was so good, and honestly, being down in the pit, it obviously was loud, but it wasn't uncomfortably
mm-mm,
loud like in a theater.
mm-mm.
So it was really, really nice to just sit there and listen to music and be with all the people that were down there just loving the music as well. And it was just great. They're great musicians, still putting on a really good show. Just I was really, really impressed by the whole thing.
Amy and I believe being on the rail or being in the pit or really
That's
there's nothing else to
exactly
it.
no, that's exactly where our seats were in the pit for Def Leppard. We didn't get them when prices had been slashed, so it was
I was like,
incredibly
Amy, you do.
painful to be there. But it was like row like 5, seats 1 and 2. So the stage was a big M, right? So we
Mhm.
had the aisle of the middle of like the middle part, so not
Oh wow,
out
yeah.
here, where it was perfect. A lot of spinning around to see everybody and everything that was going on, because there was action behind you and in front of you and all that. But I would do it again in a heartbeat if I won the lottery.
Well, and I'll say, so for Emily, if that was her first Def Leppard show and journey, any standout songs or moments from the concert this summer?
I will be quite honest, I might have cried a little bit during Don't Stop Believing. It's just
I can't imagine.
magical.
No, I can't imagine.
Honestly, the only feeling that I can equate it to is being a kid and seeing the Disney World castle for the first time. It was just kind of like that, just like
Oh,
surreal experience. Like getting to, even though Steve Perry isn't with Journey, I personally love Arnell so much. I think he's doing a great job. And,
he is.
Neil being such a big inspiration to me, being right in front of me. When they started singing the song, both Neil and Arnell were right in front of me. And it was just so crazy. I was just so happy. It was awesome.
So I'm gonna
Yes.
have to say, like, so for people who might not have gotten to, so Amy and I got to experience some of these concerts, not necessarily 80s, maybe late 80s, more like 90s. We experienced it all. But for you now experiencing it for the first time, tell people, how does it feel to see these bands play?
I feel fortunate to get to see them because unfortunately we've lost a
Mm-hmm.
couple big members of the rock and roll community lately, and it's very sad. John Sykes, that one really like hit kind of hard. He's a big inspiration to me, and it's definitely sad growing up in a time that you don't get to see everyone that you want to see. But it's also just so cool after you listen to the music for so long, and then like I go with my parents, so they're seeing a lot of these bands for the second time, third time, fourth time, but getting to go with me is just really fun. I mean, I was talking to my mom the other day. I was like, "Did you ever think that you'd be going back to a Def Leppard concert with your daughter that was 20 years old?" She was like, "Never." Like, it's just really cool.
I did that with my daughter. My Caitlin, she went with me when I saw Def Leppard in Atlanta. It was so fun. It's like surreal. And she just loved it. She rocked out. It was awesome. I
No,
totally get it. I'm with your mom.
no, and I love seeing that you go to the concerts with your parents,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
think you enjoy the music probably even more than they probably
Mm-hmm.
might, or just as much. And I think that is
Just as
so
much. Yeah.
amazing. Well, and also seeing that these bands are playing. I mean, there was that short period of time in the 2000s where things weren't going well for the bands, and now it's almost resurrected, and it seems absolutely
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Okay, so I'm going to
I
ask. Go ahead, Aim.
Oh wait, sorry. I'm gonna go back a little bit to you mentioned John Sykes, Emily, and let me just
Mm.
tell you, I have had Blue Murder in my car on repeat for like, well, a week now. And it's one of those things that, golly, that man's talent was just, I want to say is, because the music will live on despite the fact that he's not here, is just incredible. Blue Murder was one of my favorites that I never got to see, like way back when. And I've mentioned in
Mm.
another episode, I had this crappy little pink Geostorm that we put at aftermarket stereo in, and Blue Murder was another one of those just blasting out of the car. And I felt like John Sykes. I was telling my friend Kathy yesterday, I felt like John Sykes knows me. She knows what she like the boys
From
in
the
the
Pink
band, radio
Geostorm.
blasting as loud as she can, as loud as it can. I was like, oh my gosh, he just knows me. That's how I felt when I was like 20. I was like, I love this song. He just knows me. Anyway, sorry about that. That's just my Blue Murder. Like,
Yeah.
gosh, I love that so much. Sorry, go ahead.
So, do you have any shows that you're planning to go to in 2025?
Yes, I have another show with Arena Rock coming up on February 22nd. I'm going to be playing with them again.
Yay.
Love those guys. They're just so fun. Absolutely
Yeah.
love all of them. March 1st, I'm going to be with Brett again, which I am so excited about. Yes, he pretty much told me that if, there's shows close and you want to come, we'd love to do it again. So I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey, March 1st, I can make it. I'm on spring break. So I'm going to be traveling to Indiana to see
I was
Brett.
going to ask where it is. Okay, Indiana.
Yes. And then I'm gonna be meeting Nita on February 14th, Nita
Oh my
Strauss.
word.
Yeah, my first time meeting Nita.
Wow.
We've spoke, but we've never actually met. So I'm really excited. And March 29th, I believe it is, I'm gonna be seeing Heart in West Virginia. And I believe that's everything that I have tickets for right now, but summer things might pop up.
Wow.
That is not bad, I might
I
say.
know. Holy
Yeah.
cow, that's a march, man. Wow. Obviously, I
Okay,
had that response to Nita Strauss. She's
Yes.
incredible. Wow. That's awesome.
so that's going forward. Now, I want to go back a little. Besides Brett, and you have the amazing Steel Heart and Striper experiences, any other fun fan experiences?
Save it for the next show. Shh. No, I'm just kidding.
No? Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm like, no, I want her to come back. Don't ask her that yet. Come on now.
No, because Amy,
Oh.
it's only getting better from here. I mean,
This
listening to
is
the next few
true.
months, it
Oh,
is
this is true.
only This
Have
is
at it.
yeah.
Definitely.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Okay.
Um, I would say when I met the guys of Lynch Mob and George
Mm,
Lynch, that was great.
mhm,
I wasn't sure if I was meeting George. I was crossing my fingers that I was, but I know Jaron and Gabriel, the bass player and lead
mhm.
singer of Lynch
Mhm.
Mob. We've spoken before. They actually followed me first, and I was like, "Whoa, that's really cool." And they're really just both really nice guys. And I sent Jaron a message a few days before going to the concert. I was like, "I have a kamikaze, and I would like die if George could sign it." And he's like, "You know what? Put it in a case, put whatever else you want to get signed in there, throw a Sharpie in there, and I will take it at sound check and I'll have George sign it all." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh." And then that kind of made me think, I wonder if there's any chance I'm going to meet George. So we show up when Jaron tells us to. It's right before sound check. We're in like this back alley and this back door to this little tiny venue. He takes the guitar and he's super nice, really great to meet him. And he says, "I got to go back in, but if you want to hang out back here, George went to get something to eat and he might be coming back." And he just closed the door and left.
You're
And so
like,
I was like, I'm just standing out here like some creepy stalker waiting for George to come back. And so I did. I just stood out there and here he comes. And I know how George is. So I'm like,
Mm.
try to be cool, like try to be calm because he's a little socially awkward. Like, he's like that. And I say hi to him and I kind of startled him. And he like it was just a hilarious experience. He like didn't speak that much. It wasn't that he was being rude. I just think he
Oh
was
yeah.
really taken aback by the entire situation.
Mhm.
And we got a picture, and if you look at the picture, you can see the awkwardness translating. Like, it was really funny. Jaron did not tell him I was waiting out there. He just thought he was getting ambushed by some random girl. It was really hilarious. I mean, he was nice, but it was a funny
Yeah.
experience. But later he actually did end up following me on Instagram after it was all over. I think Jaron might
Yay.
have explained some things, and so it all worked out, and I got all my stuff signed. But I kind of felt bad in the moment. I was like, I hope I didn't freak him out too much.
okay,
Yeah.
I love that Jaron ambushed him. That's fantastic. Like that's what
That's what
good friends
bandmates
do to
do.
each other.
Yeah.
Right, right. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. I I appreciate that story. When we my husband got to meet George, and he was already out and about. So he had already been talking to people, so he's a little bit warmed up. But I had heard stories where, like, if you interrupt him at the wrong time, he's not trying to be rude, but he protects his space.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And so I'm really glad, like, that makes sense to me. The story that you told is, I guess, what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay,
awesome.
well, I am looking at the time, so I'm just going to do a few quick questions, and then we're going to have you back at some times. Okay,
Mm.
so you like 80s music. Is there a favorite 80s TV show or movie that you like?
Oh.
Oh, that's a good one. I love 80s movies. Honestly prefer them over anything else. Like, all these new movies keep coming out. I'm like, it just doesn't feel the same. They were so much simpler and I
Yep.
just love them so much. But my favorite movies of all time have to be Top Gun and Back to the Future.
I knew
But
that was going to be
probably
one.
Top
I just knew
Gun
it.
because Tom Cruise. I mean,
I mean,
he
Right.
always will have my heart. I mean, like, seriously, any Tom Cruise movie from the 80s, I love it so much.
Yep. Yep.
well, I had to have like when Maverick came out a few summers ago, I had it like be a total experience for me to go to the
Oh
movie
yeah.
theater and see that because like
Hmm.
what the original movie did back when, I was like so excited to have it come out again too, because that is just iconic. Okay, so
Awesome.
what tell us about for 2025, what do you have in store for your socials?
Mm.
Lots of concerts like we talked about. That's more towards the beginning of the year. I'm hoping to book some other stuff. People really am loving the performance videos. My most recent performance video has got over 100,000 views already, and people just love that. So I'm excited to post some more of that stuff, but obviously can't do that all the time because I can just perform when I can. But I'm working on lots of covers right now. Honestly, I probably have 20 covers working right now, which is a little bit stressful,
That's
but I'm
awesome.
working on them. I'm really wanting to do some more with my podcast, do some episodes of just me talking about certain topics instead of having guests every single time. I do have a couple guests
Excellent.
lined up. I've got Bruce Kulick from Kiss,
Oh,
maybe
fun.
Ricky Rocket. Just a few of the guys that I'm kind of friends with on Instagram are agreeing to do episodes, so that's going to be really great. I'm hoping this summer to have Bret on my podcast to talk about the Poison tour. I'm pretty sure he would do that, but I'd really love to get the
That would be
info before before
amazing.
anyone else does. That'd be a really great interview. So I'm going to ask him about that in March. But yeah, I think just kind of continuing with what I'm doing.
You're
Definitely
doing
want to get some
great.
more covers out. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've got planned.
Also, I mean, talking about you are learning songs, you are practicing, you're going to do some shows, you have the podcast. So all of that alone seems like a full-time commitment. But
Yeah.
on top of that,
Yep.
you're a student still doing amazing work. How do you sleep? Do you not
Clinicals.
eat? Like, what is, how do you do this?
It's crazy, I'll be honest. It at times is just extremely overwhelming. But here's the thing. I love both things. And while I think that this music thing is probably going to always be I don't like to use the word hobby because it's more important than a hobby, but it's
Hmm.
part-time. I
It's a
don't see
passion.
myself doing this full-time
Okay.
because I'm working really hard to, be a nurse and I want that as well. I really love it, even though the schooling is really hard. I
Yep.
do enjoy it and getting to help people and all of that is just great. I think right now is the hardest part of it all because I've got
Hmm.
all these opportunities coming at me really fast, but then I've also got school going on that I absolutely can't like let up on. I have to keep going at that. So this semester definitely is going to be one of the hardest. When I'm playing with Arena Rock the 22nd, I am playing on Saturday, traveling home on Sunday, have an exam at 8 a.m. on Monday, and then another one on Wednesday, and then that Saturday I'll be with Bret. So that's just like kind of how it's going to be going on. It's crazy. I'm going to be studying while I'm hanging out with the rock stars, but it just is what it is. I mean, I have to, sometimes get up a little earlier and like go film
Hmm.
something or stay up and edit at night. It just really, I just have to make it work. Each week is different. I have to, like today, I took the whole afternoon to just try to film content. Honestly, I was so tired from the week of school. Probably half the stuff that I filmed is going to have to get scrapped. It just wasn't working out today. It just wasn't. And that happens some days, but like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just trying to keep going with both. And yeah, YouTube is the one that's going to have to get put on pause if I do get too overwhelmed, because school, I just got to get through these 4 years. But after that, you're working, you're not in school, you don't have to come home and study, you can come home and play guitar. So I'm just getting through these next 2 years, and then I think it's going to all mesh together a lot better.
Yeah, I
I
love
agree
your
with you. I
outlook.
think, yeah, studying, like the school part was such a different type of pressure on life than just the job part and
Right.
working, and you could pace things otherwise. So the next thing after these music podcasts, I want to have Inspirations by Emily, where you inspired people
Aw.
to do it all because I love your commitment to your
Hmm.
education and school and both your passions. It is wonderful. I mean, it just makes it even more extraordinary
And
than everything you're doing.
I love the priority that you place on it. You're kind of like, yes, nursing is my ultimate career goal, but I'm not letting go of what I love just to make that happen. And I
Yeah,
absolutely adore that. And I think that's
yeah.
the lesson that I'm going to take
Hmm.
from this because in life's crazy busy thing, I feel that way about this podcast. I'm like, I
That's
refuse.
us.
I
That's
refuse to
us.
let it go because this is what
We
we're passionate
did
about. This is what we
because
love.
we did
Yeah,
let it go for years, Amy.
mhm,
Decades.
we
I said
did
we let it go for decades,
decades. Hmm.
and it took us to
We
find
lost
getting back
ourselves.
to it.
Yeah.
Lost ourselves, and so
Hmm.
watching you has been. That's what Amy has been telling me about you. We've been having so much fun watching everything you're doing, and then hearing you talk about like your education at the same time. We're like, it's all that plus another amazing side to her.
I
So
know.
well
Thank
done,
Yeah.
you so
Emily.
much. Thank
Well,
you.
I can't. We're gonna
Yeah.
continue watching you, and we're cheering for you. So
And
thank
and I
you.
just have to say something, Emily. Don't ever doubt anything that you can do or anything that you want to do because look at where you are right here and now. So hopefully in like if you come into a place in 10-15 years time, which you won't because but if for some reason you do, look back on this time and see what you are capable of and know that you can do anything. I
She
wish we
can,
had
yeah,
somebody telling us that at her age. You know what I mean? Not to put you
yeah,
down for your age. I don't mean that at all. I'm just life sometimes happens and it goes crazy. Don't forget where you are in this feeling that you have right now.
yeah.
Because we did and we
No, it's
know.
amazing. No, it's amazing. It's amazing
Yeah.
watching
I'm
you.
so
Yeah,
impressed by
so
you. I
yeah,
really
so
am.
impressed.
I just
Thank you
cannot
so
wait to
much.
see. And then, 6 months we'll have you. It doesn't have to be 6 months, because we love you, but we'll totally have you back on, go through all the things that you've been doing and that you've done already and everything. So anyway, sorry, I'm going to ramble now.
Okay, so
just
Amy,
because,
I'm gonna end it with asking Emily to tell people where to find her and about
yes,
her
please.
merchandise and everything else that she's doing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I am on YouTube and Instagram at Guitar by Emily. It should be the only account that comes up with that. I do have merchandise. It's available linked in all of my bios. And I also, if everyone wants to know where my guitar tone comes from, that's like the question I get most asked. So that's linked in my bio as well. I've got shows coming up. Those are going to be posted. Keep an eye out on community posts on everything if you want to catch me live.
Yay! Oh,
You
can't
definitely
wait.
want
I
to.
can't
I
wait.
just don't even know when I'm going to be in the Midwest. Oy.
Maybe
So,
I'll have to end up out in California sometime. We'll see.
I would drive to
Or
you.
Europe. Or Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That would be amazing. Summer. Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
Emily,
Well,
thank
Emily,
you so
thank
much.
you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you.
I'm really glad you guys had me on. It was really fun, and definitely we can do this again. Maybe let these shows that are coming up happen, and by the time those shows are over, this semester will be over. So
Okay.
Yeah.
so maybe we'll
Right?
have a lot more to
Yeah,
talk about. Yeah.
that would be
That's
great.
so awesome. We'd love it. Alrighty. Well, have a good one.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
you
you
do
for
as well.
coming.
Good luck
Thank you so
studying.
much.
Did you love it? Loved
Oh
it.
my gosh. Loved it.
And
She's
Amy,
amazing.
one of the things I also love that I'm taking with this is here we are. We get gushy talking over George Lynch and Bret
Yeah.
Michaels.
Oh
And
my
it
gosh.
just makes my heart warm and fuzzy that this lovely, gorgeous 19-year-old new generation like feels the same way we did
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
same age.
Like, and I'm sorry, I would react that way now if Bret Michaels was hugging me. Bret Michaels is hugging me. Like, what would you? You're holding it together, like you're like getting the hug, and you're like, this is all great, and
Oh,
you're all together, but inside you're just, yeah, that.
no, I know. And
I get
it
her.
makes me, yeah, it lets me think that, okay, it's okay. I can still be giddy, right? I can still be
Right,
giddy about all
of
this. Yeah.
course,
Okay.
naturally. That's why we do what we
Okay.
do. That's why we
That's what
do
we
what
do,
we
what
do
we do.
here.
Oh, and Aim,
Oh
again, I tell
gosh.
you, cannot wait to see everything Emily is going to accomplish
I
in the
know.
future with
Oh my
everything she
gosh.
does in life and the next thing she touches.
I meant what I said when I told her, like, don't forget what you're capable of, like, ever, because that girl is powerful. And what I mean by that is she's well established into knowing who she is and what she
She knows who
loves.
she is.
And she's not like, she could let school and the busyness and all of that, clinicals, oh my word. There's people who do clinicals and nothing else. Majority of people, that's what they can handle. And the fact that she's maintaining her passion through all of this, girl has got, I'm blown away. I'm
Well,
taking
and
lessons from her.
surrounded by people who
Mm,
love her and support
mm-hmm,
her,
mm-hmm.
everyone from her family to her nursing community
I
to
know.
the rock stars out there and the
It's
music
amazing.
community.
And
Love it.
that right,
That's what
and
we
that
need.
speaks volumes of who she is and how she treats other people,
Hmm.
because ain't nobody going to support somebody who's not nice.
No,
I just,
it is.
I'm so,
No, this one
I love
again,
her.
warm, fuzzy heart. I have like, I feel
I
good
love
and
her.
it's what we need.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
And
Business. We got to do the business. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or another one of the podcast streaming services, please do what you need to do to make sure that you get notifications for new episodes, whether it be leave a rating or is it a follow or a subscribe, however that's working on whatever you're listening on. Make sure you do that so you know when we have new episodes coming out. Again, as always, just like Emily, and just so you know, eventually here, Emily and I, we're going to be trading shirts. So I'm going to have an Emily shirt and she's going to have a Rock Life shirt, and we'll have to get you, Katya, a shirt so we can all be like Emily'd out on our next episode. That would be fun.
Emily fans.
Yeah, definitely Emily fans. So that would be fun. So you can find our shirts and sweatshirts and mugs at rtlmerch.com. We are on Instagram and Threads and TikTok, but primarily Instagram at RockTheLife Girl.
Send us your stories. Would love to have you on.
Yes,
Love it.
Please.
Please. Okay.
We love all of this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we didn't forget.
Rock the
Rock the
life.
life.
Love you, babe.
So funny. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.